Is it on? Is it on? Pop. Okay. All right, y'all. It's Monday night and it's 7. Well, it's after 7 p.m. But y'all know what that means. It's Monday. It's 7. So that's time for Talk That Talk Cocktail Hour with your girl, your host, and that'll be Gina Wade.
And your girl Tay Brown. Hey y'all.
We don't want B will know if B coming in or not, but yeah, be around her somewhere. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna get this topic. We're gonna get tonight started off with co-parenting situations. Co-parenting situations. We already know that that can be a lot of things. One in particular that I had seen was someone stated about if you're like they had their kid went to their father's house and the father had basically have the father have other children and they went to their father's home and they child called and told the mother that they was hungry because they ain't have nothing to eat. So the whole scenario and the question was, what do you do? So basically it was a lot of why's you blocking my live? Ain't even no music on her right now. They blocked out everything. But the whole scenario was that. But they was asking people what would they do? What would they do in that particular situation? So I started seeing people saying stuff like, I take my child something to eat. I just go get my kid. I take my child something to eat. Just my child. Different things like that. So basically, that was the question. What would you do?
So is the father at home or the father at work? Is the girlfriend at home, the wife at home, or is it just one of them situations where the kids calling saying they hungry?
Well, basically, that's what a lot of people were saying. So basically, we basically just rounded it off to that one scenario where I wouldn't even say he have a girlfriend, or even if he did, it doesn't matter. He have several children. He have several children by different women, and the father have the children at his house for the weekend or whatever at this time. And your child called you and told you that they were hungry because they didn't have any food. So basically, they was like, what would you do?
So basically, the scenario is the kids are at the daddy
Daddy's house
house.
with nothing to eat.
The daddy got several kids over there other than just your child.
Exactly.
And your child calls and says, "I'm hungry. Do you feed your child or all the kids?"
I mean, that was one of the
We gonna
situations.
make that. Um, well, for me, I'm a mother, and if my kid call and they with other kids, I'm gonna feed all the kids. I'm gonna ask where the daddy at though because they not there. But if I know the daddy working and
The
just
daddy there. It's just the fact that they don't have nothing to eat.
you see, I didn't know the daddy
That's
was
what I'm
there.
saying.
That's
Daddy
a
is
whole
home.
different.
That's why I say daddy home, and he have all his children over. He have his
So is the
children.
daddy broke? Come,
Oh, I mean, we don't know all this.
okay,
We don't
so
know this. The scenario
okay,
was that the daddy decided that he have multiple children by multiple women. The daddy decided that he was going to get all his children to come to his home with him. Once the kids are there, then your child, which is one of his, call you and say, "Mama, I'm hungry. We don't got nothing to eat." So the scenario was, it went a whole lot of different ways, but the question was, what would you do?
well, I would call first off. I'm gonna call my kid's father and figure out like, hey, what's up? My daughter just called and said she hungry. What's up? Why you ain't fed the kids? So, if you the daddy, what you gonna say back to me?
I mean, like I said, he could have it.
I'm just saying, if you was the daddy in the situation, answer the question so I can
I
figure out like
mean,
this scenario because
he
it's weird.
I mean, he could say he don't have nothing, or they ate everything he had. He don't have no money. I mean, like I said, it could go all different ways, but to the point of where it's yours, because me myself, my head started wondering and going all into craziness and trying to think about things as well, and people was like, when I saw this thing, people was like, "I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna go feed my kid. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take my child something to eat, and then I'm gonna be gone." Other people was like, "Well, I'm feeding everybody." Other people was like, "I'm gonna go get them." So it was basically just, I mean, cause like I say, stuff can go a million ways. Nobody
Yeah.
said if they was broke. I mean, so
Well,
whichever
see,
scenario
see,
is best for
I
you.
got grandkids now because my kids grown, and my grandkids be lying like they
And
could have
somebody
just
said that
ate.
too.
They could have just ate at my mama house and don't realize that me and my mama on the phone. As soon as they walk outside, they gonna say, "Granny, I'm hungry." So my first question is, let me speak to your daddy,
Right.
because that eliminate the lie right there. Sometimes kids just know that they mama gonna get them the better stuff, so they gonna get
Exactly.
over. So first off, we gotta eliminate that they not lying, because kids lie. So once we eliminate that the kids aren't lying, my question to him is, why haven't they ate if he says that they have not ate? If he say, I just fed them and they just want something else, that's the situation. If he say, I don't have no money, that's another situation. So if he didn't have no money, how would you answer that?
If he don't have no money, I'm gonna feed mine regardless.
Mine's
I mean,
all.
not to the point where, oh, you just want this and he got that. If he have something that you like and you just don't want it, that's just on you. But if he, like I say, he may not, if he even put forth of an effort in the whole situation to even get the kids, to try to spend time with them or be with them, and he just don't have it. Like I say, it could be all different ways. First of all, he's a man, so we already know how men do. They very prideful. So he probably thought he was gonna be able to figure it out, or he probably thought the little stuff he gave them was enough. But some kid, or depends on how old the kid or whatever. Some kids, nowadays they got their own cell phones. They know how to communicate, whether they young, 3, 4, 5 years old. They got phones. They can call and say whatever. He probably just figured he'll be able to figure it out, or he was just too proudful to ask for something. So I'm gonna know all the scenarios or whatever. But me, like you said, we know that kids be like, I ain't ate nothing. You can feed them yourself, and they'll sit there and say, I ain't ate nothing. You like, why you lying? But we're gonna go with the scenario that they actually haven't had nothing, or maybe he just had cereal and they ate all that and now they hungry and there's nothing left. I would most definitely go and feed my child. I wouldn't so much of get mad. Like I say, like if he had it, that's a different story. If he didn't have it, I wouldn't get mad and go snatch my child up or whatever, because
No,
they need to
we
be
not going to get them.
right. Because that's why I heard a lot of them. I'm going to get them. Why? Because first of all, what scenario is it? Is he doing all that because he know you gonna come get your kid? Oh, I ain't gonna fit him do that. She'll come get him. So is he doing that because he know you're gonna come get your child? Is he doing that just because he honestly really doesn't have it? So if he honestly really doesn't
She said,
have
drop
it,
a crave case off. I'm with you, Gina.
right? If he honestly
Uh-uh.
just don't have it, then you supposed to help. The type of person I am, like, I have co-parent to where we have been in a relationship, we have broken up, and he goes on, I go on, and he still get the kids. Now me as a parent, and I have always been like that. I pack up everything my children need and want, regardless to where they went or where they was going. So my kid wouldn't have had those issues. I'm the type of parent that even when my kids were teenagers and they went to other family member houses, or if they didn't really too much do like other children houses. That's what everybody did to me. Everybody came to my house, but when they went to those few family member houses that they would go to, I still would be like, well, y'all know it's food, y'all got y'all food, y'all got everything, so make sure y'all take y'all food. You already gonna take your soap, your deodorant, your toothpaste, all that. You don't have no reason to use nobody else's stuff. So I have always been like that, even when my kids were smaller. You get enough clothes, you get food, you get, snacks, you get all of that type of stuff. And then my children are basically like I am. So we will share and make sure everything's good. So if you end up at your father's house and some of the other siblings are there or something and they need something, I'm quite sure they're going to share with them. But if it came to the point where they ate all their stuff and they don't have anything, then I'm like they say, I'm gonna send something else. I'm taking something else. I'm sending pizza. I'm getting some more stuff from the home or going to the store and buying stuff and do it. I'm just that type of person. Even when I used to send my kids stuff, I knew their dad. We lived together. We were a family. So I knew their dad. I still would throw stuff in that I know their dad like, and he would eat. So it's, it just, I guess it depends on the person.
Okay, well, flip the scenario. We're gonna flip the scenario. Say he has a spouse in the house, and the spouse then fed her kids, and then he have his kids there, and the kids haven't ate. How do you handle that?
No, that's, like I said, that's a totally different situation. My
it.
children, like I say, my children wouldn't be welcome there because I wouldn't do it to yours. So my children most definitely wouldn't be welcome in that home.
Yeah, but I'm saying this is the first time this has ever happened. So you've never exhibited this with your kids. So this is the actual first time. So
right.
For instance, Derek a kid, he go over his dad's house. You and the dad been broke up for a long time. Now he has a so-called fiance. They're not married just yet. However, the kids are over there with them probably for the first time. So this is her first time ever really experiencing your kids. So you really don't know what to expect, but you trying to be the bigger parent, and that's their daddy. So you send them over there. They get over there. She feeds her kids and acts as if though she's feeding yours in front of him. Say for instance, he leaves and she done fed her kids all of this stuff, and your kids get less than. Your daughter sneak off and call you and say, "Mama, she fed her kids, but she didn't feed us." What's your answer for that?
I ain't no answer. I'm on my way.
Oh, okay, because
I'm most definitely on my way.
I'm just saying because
I'm on my way, and as I'm on my way, I'm telling them to get their stuff. I'll be there, and as I'm on my way, I'm calling their dad, and I'm talking to them. It ain't gonna be he can't handle no situations or nothing else because that's something that should have been established and handled from the get go. Well, thank God I never experienced that, but I know people who experienced it.
I have experienced a situation at one point with my kids where they were somewhere, and for whatever reason, the girlfriend was treating my kids differently. And once it got back to me, it was a whole problem because her living situation where she had her kids sleeping was in beds, and she had my baby sleeping on a cot. And I'm like, a cot? Hold up. I mean, she had a big, beautiful house. And they daddy knew that this was happening. And by the time it got to me, it was a whole issue. I took it up with him because I rarely ever seen her in person. But, it was a whole issue because you just never know how vindictive some women can be.
Oh, yeah.
Very malicious.
But men and women do all of that.
I've never really experienced a man mistreating other people's kids, per se. I've seen women firsthand pretend like they're into the kids in front of the man and mistreat the kids. See, with mine, I had just one daughter, and she was the only girl. And in the situation that my ex was in, she had all boys. So she treated my daughter really well because she didn't have a daughter. But the baby boy, she treated him like he was, no. So it does happen.
Yeah, I know it happened. That's why I said I done seen it happen. But I'm saying, me personally, I have never experienced that, thank God, because and like I say, that's another situation and things that goes off when I laugh and I tell people, I'll be like, I would never do stuff like that just because of the person that I am. But the same person that I'm speaking of, like I say, I would take stuff over there and he would be like, sometimes he'd be like, well, you don't have to see nothing because it's stuff left over here from the last time they was over here, and I just went out and got something, so we good. And in that situation, it was other siblings that'll be around sometime as well. Mine were the younger ones, and then it was like this and that. But I never experienced that, but I have seen it done to other people. So I'm like, the scenarios can go a whole different ways, and then like you say, the parent can know about it. And then the parent can not know about it. But the whole thing is, it's not okay.
It's not okay
at all. But when you most definitely have somebody that's mistreating kids, you just a sick individual, period. Because kids are innocent and they can only give what you give them.
I feel like they daddy they daddy was the issue.
Right.
She was no longer the issue because
That's why I say I'm calling
yeah,
it daddy.
once I addressed this with
Yeah.
him and he knew about it and he was okay with it, my issue is with you because why is your son treated differently? I don't care what the situation is. Why is he treated any kind of way indifferent in a house where you are laying your head at?
And that's why I say that's when I said that's when my child would have been
yeah.
removed, and you don't have to never wonder or worry because
baby.
you never gonna mistreat mine. Because like I said, I done that, and when I done it, I have basically went and I have went and bought my food and all of that. Like I say, it took me a long time to stop sending stuff. Because people be like, what the hell you sending all this food and all this stuff for? We got food with this. Because my kids really didn't go but a few places. So they was like, what? Why you keep sending this? I'm like, this is just what I do. Even when it came down to like my dad, you know, by BB had shot him his first grandkids and all of that. So basically when he be like, well, I'm going to get the boys and I want to spend some time with them and do X, Y, Z. And I'm packing all this food. And he's sending it back, and I'm packing. I'm sitting there. It took me a long time, and he was like, I already got everything for them and all that. But that's just what I do. I provide and make sure my kids are did. And I was like, so it took me a while to like, cause you know some people still got grandparents that you still got to send their food. You got to send this. You got to send that. You got to do this. You got to do that.
I ain't never had. Most of the time, if I was going to send something, they'd be like, girl, you know, we got clothes and stuff for them. Sometimes I still send stuff because, like, my daughter, she liked to dress a certain type of way, and she didn't like how her granny dressed.
Well, see, that's how I was.
But as far as food and all that, I ain't never had to. If my kids was going over their grandparents' house, I ain't never have to send nothing. Luckily, I was blessed in that way with them. Now, if they go with their daddy, I will send clothes because they were with me little more of the time. So, like, he would buy stuff, but it still wouldn't be as much as the stuff that I had. So I was sending and he was sending stuff back, but no.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying.
It's crazy. I've had a situation where the girl had, I guess him and the girl was going through stuff. She stopped cooking for him, which means she didn't cook for the kids neither. So if my kids was left there with her, they didn't eat. So, and he stayed with this girl for years and I never understood this. But, like they ain't together or nothing no more, but finally, he started telling me, like, how Andre and selfish she was, you know, because we were still friends or whatever the case may be, and I never understood that. I'm never going to be with a man that on purpose in front of me shows me that she's not for my kids.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. For me. That just don't work. That's what I was saying. It took, I mean, like people said, grandparents and all that, because a lot of people have parents that on fixed incomes, barely making themselves and all that. So if you got all these kids or you got whatever, you don't want to sit them down there eating up all their food and you know they on a fixed income or something like that. But I mean, it wasn't even like that. It's just that was in me. And then I also knew that my dad was gonna spoil them just as well as he did me. And that was his, you know, I was like, quit sending stuff. But when you that type of parent that you that one that nurture and take care of everything, everybody, you're gonna always make sure your children are okay, no matter what. That's just in bonding you, instilling you or whatever. And I knew my kids didn't need nothing in the few places that I sent them, because if they was gonna even need something, I ain't trying to be funny, but I wasn't even gonna be that comfortable with sending my children somewhere where they wasn't provided.
Yeah, but what now then think about another thing. You have some grandparents that I've seen and heard lately that treat certain of their grandkids different than the other one.
Yeah, that's why
I just started seeing this, like, I started seeing this as I got older, and I was like, what in the heck? Like, my granny loved everybody, even though I was the oldest and the first and the favorite, because I was the first girl. She loved all the rest of them too, but I was just the first. But she never, ever, ever, ever mistreated her grandkids. Right. She took everybody's kids in. Right. But in these new age grannies, they might like you and don't like the rest of them, but all of them are her grandkids, and I never understood.
I mean, that's in the old ones too, because I done seen people. I done heard people saying that, and I was like, well, how the hell? And then I done seen that in family.
Yeah,
I was like,
what the hell?
I don't grandkids, but that's some of the same thing with mine. Mine are the first two. Them the oldest, them the first ones, and all of that. So it easy for them to be poor. But that's what I'm saying, when you're doing certain things and you just that way, it takes a lot because people are doing it. But when you sending your kids somewhere with their fathers or with their mothers, and they got other girlfriends and boyfriends or husbands and wives, and you come across these things, that is just hella sad and sick. Like I say, when you co-parent, it's a different thing, because like I said, it came to the point where my children's father actually got married, and I really didn't. I mean, me and her ain't no friends or nothing like that, but I ain't got no problem with her because, first of all, I don't want your man. So me and you ain't never got no beef. I ain't worrying about your man. If I wanted him, I would have still been with him. So I don't have no problem with that. And people was like he'll be like, well, we gonna get the kids XYZ. We gonna do this. We gonna do that. Have them ready. Basically, she gonna come get them. Okay. You know, a lot of people like, what's wrong? I'm like, okay, here you go. She come, the wife would come because she had her daughter. I would have, her daughter would come home with me and hang out with the boys and do stuff. She never spent the night, but like we leave church and stuff like that. She would come home with the boys and hang, because she wanted to hang out with her brothers a little while longer or whatever. She was the only child. So she would hang out with us, like dinner, because we're going to have dinner. We're going to do all that. And she would go home, when you have a certain person, the parent is a certain person, and you know how that parent is, and you know that they're for the kids and they're going to be taken care of, you have no problem. Because the same way that I allow my children to go with her, she allowed her child to come with me, and we got that confidence and that insurance from that man, because we knew what type of man that was and how that man was with his children. So that made her comfortable and safe enough to send her child with me, and that made me comfortable and safe enough to have my kids to hang out with her. Because like I said, my children call her parents. They never call her mom or nothing like that, but they call her parents grandparents, granny, papa, all of that, and I ain't had no problems with none of that and all that. And they took my kids. She took my kids places. Like if the dad was gone and did something, and her child went somewhere, she had the kids, because that was her husband, the way it's supposed to be. That was her husband, and those were his children. This man is a part of me now, so these children are a part of me.
But that's really the way it's supposed to go.
So I didn't have those situations or issues. So thank God I didn't have to go through that. But I wouldn't have never. But I seen other family members and other friends and stuff like that.
My
go
kids
through
were
stupid stuff like that.
kids were the only kids. They didn't have siblings. Like, my oldest son got a little brother that's probably about 5 or 6, but they didn't have other siblings. They were the only siblings. So I've never really experienced a baby mama and the drama that comes with the baby mamas, because I married them, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't have them type of issues. So I ain't never really experienced that part. The girlfriend, and I think it was more so because I was married to him that bothered her more than anything. But I asked him for the divorce. He didn't ask me for the divorce. And when I asked him for the divorce, I was done. I don't know if it was just the idea in the back of her head, like they probably still dealing. We were not still dealing. We didn't even talk to each other at the time when they were together, whatever the case may be. The most I seen him was him coming to do whatever I asked him to do for the kids or whatever the case may be, because he always was in his kids' life. But I never understood women that automatically hate the woman.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of men lie, though. You do have men that lie.
They tell lies on you and say little stuff. And then a lot of times, that's another thing you have to watch too, because like you say, a lot of the men would do and say stuff because they actually don't want the women to
oh yeah, baby.
to be together, or to
guys that actually have made
type of relationship.
Lies on the girl to keep them separated. I've seen that. I see that in a lot of the younger girls now, because they have like 5 or 6 kids with one baby mama and come and have 2 or 3 with the other baby mama, and the baby mama's fighting, and then the baby daddy's still sleeping with the baby mama and all this different crap. But these are the younger kids. I ain't really seen this in the older people my age. I don't know. We was different though.
Yeah. Basically, that's what I'm saying. Different. So, you have a lot of reasons why. You have a lot of reasons why people treat your kids different and different stuff like that. Some just ignorant to the fact because they just like you say they, you know, I
Yeah,
have
jealousy, low self esteem,
yeah so,
hatred,
like
envy. The
yeah,
list goes on.
and then
Exactly.
like I say, a lot of them are just to the point where they just don't trip out the fact that it's being done like that, or you heard people say, well, that ain't my responsibility, but I will do it. You know, like I say, you have other scenarios of that. I mean, we could go on and on about that, but then you could put in other scenarios I done seen, even just on TV shows. I done seen it, I done saw it personally. I done saw it, I done seen it on shows, I done heard people have conversations on it and different things like that. But they go and they say, you got a sibling and y'all at school and it's just two of y'all, and one of the other daddies pull up and pick the other child up and leave the other one walking.
These are two different separate households, all
They
right?
no, the kids belong to the same mother, but they had a different dad, and
Oh, so
they
you
leaving
saying the
school.
boyfriend that's
No, I'm saying the daddy.
husband that's at
Yeah,
home.
no, they don't even so much got husbands at home. Even if you just a single mom, I done seen places where they are single moms and the kids are close and the kids might are in school together, and
Siblings.
yeah, and they got a different dad. So one of the dads pick comes to the school while the kids are walking home or getting ready to go home or whatever, and he just get his child and go and leave the other one like, okay, we finna go get something to eat and we finna do this, this and that. So you just leave that child walking home or
So
whatever, and you go get your child something to eat, but you bringing this child back to the same household to drop him off with the food or whatever it is you did and all that.
Well, that honestly gotta be an understanding. Um, some men, some women just not gonna deal with other people's kids. And then you have to understand sometimes when it's like that, somebody done cheated and got a kid. And they just don't want no parts. I have friends who were in marriages with men and they stepped outside of their marriages, and instead of the lady leaving the marriage, she done stayed in the dang on marriage. And she refuses to have the kid in a house because she said this outside baby is not coming in the house. He already destroyed the marriage, but you're still with him.
And now see, that's a whole big different scenario I was gonna get on too, because now that's a whole big thing that I wanted to discuss about something like that too. But I'm just this okay, we're gonna wipe that one out and get on that one next. It's just basically the point of this one is like my kids have different fathers. People never knew that. I basically met my youngest son father when I was pregnant, but me and the child's dad was done. No hard feelings, no nothing, whatever. I just so happened to get pregnant when I was not even trying to even deal with that person or whatever. So it was basically the relationship was done all from the beginning. He was all like, "Oh, women just do that," and you know, because immediately when I met him, I was like, "Oh." Cause I was like a slimmer person, and I just had like you weighing like 119 pounds, and you got just this little budge or whatever. And he was like, you know, people, men and women talk stuff. I'm 21 years old. He all like, oh, you think you all talk so you cute to myself, but what's this? You got that little budge all that. You just got this little budge. I'm like, that's a whole baby. He was all like, well, like, yeah. And he just started laughing. He's like, oh, okay, whatever. Because he was saying something about me glowing and all that. And he was like, you be working out or something or what? I was like, nah. He was like, see, he said, oh, that's why you got that little pudge you be eating. I'm like, nah, that's a baby. And we just started laughing. And he was all like, whoa. So basically, me and him still conversated because the man was interested in me and the person that I was, and the conversation that he was getting, no sex involved, none of that. And he was all like, well,
Right.
his question was, well, we most definitely just gonna stay. Well, his statement was, we most definitely is just gonna stay friends and see what's going on, whatever, because women are emotional, and all y'all holler about is when y'all pregnant, y'all just hate y'all kids' father, and y'all not gonna never get together. And then as soon as the baby born, then your hormones back, and then y'all back together. And I was like, nah, you don't know me. Even though I'm a younger, I'm not gonna do that. It's nothing. We are not involved, and we are not gonna get back involved. So he stayed my friend the whole time, and once I had the baby and stuff, he's like, I had the baby. We seen each other a few times, but we talked every day for the rest of the 7 months. It was like 6 to 7 months, and then a month or so after the baby was born, and then I didn't hear from him because I guess he was feeling like the same stuff he said, and then he called me back like when the baby was like 4 months, like 3 or so months later. to see if I had got back or what was going on. So I guess I'm saying I know that's what he was doing because the conversation just started out, well, how you been doing, how the baby doing, all that, and woo woo. So it got to the point where, oh, y'all together and all that. So once we got over all that and he seen I still went with him, we connected. So that's how we end up connecting and being together and all of that. Nobody knew no difference. Nobody even really knew because actually this is the man they seen me with the few times when I was pregnant and all that type of stuff. And this is the person I was talking to a deal, and this is the one that came around after my child was born. So nobody really knew. So I didn't experience no funniness towards my child. I mean, even before I got pregnant and had our child, this man totally loved on my son, and he had other kids and all of that. He totally loved on my child, never disrespect me or my child, took care of me and my child. And then when our child came along, it was never any difference. But I have seen it. And that's why I told people, I said, they be like, don't nobody do this, don't nobody. I'm like, it can be done because not one time when this child was being raised when we was together and when we broke up, it was not one time that this man did something for our child together that he didn't do for our child that wasn't biologically his. And it even to the point where I done seen people like, oh, I still care about this kid and all this and that, but he ain't really mine. So I'm gonna I'm taking the kids shopping. But when they come back, Durr got 2 outfits or 1 outfit, and Chris got 5. That never happened. If Chris got 5, Durr got 5. When my kids came up in the 90s when Jordan came around. So every time those shoes came out, he came and snatched the boys up. I can go to the grocery store. They like you shop, you do whatever. They coming back with fila boots. They coming back with Patrick Green tennis shoes. They coming back with every time a Jordan come out. They coming out with it. Even when they got old and grown, this man never, ever, ever treated my child any different. Even when he got married, like I say, and the situation went on, that was still his child. So you couldn't do no difference or say no difference about this kid. And I was just thankful and grateful for that because even in family situations that I have seen and friend situations, I see them treat their kids different and the kids be heartbroken about that. They don't buy them, they don't get them nothing. Like, because if you're in a relationship with somebody and you say, and they live, like for instance, we was living in the same household and we go shopping. Why would I allow, and it ain't even so much allow, but why would I even participate in us going shopping, and by that being his daddy, he buy him all the stuff, and my other son don't get nothing.
That's a parenting issue. That ain't got nothing to do with them kids.
That's what I say, co-parenting.
I had remember, I asked my husband for a divorce in 2005, and I had 5 kids to leave that marriage with, and that was 5 kids that was gonna be on me because, of course, they was going with me. And I got into a relationship after that, and I was with the guy for 7 years, and my kids was with us for the 7 years, and there was never a difference made. And
right.
He didn't have any biological kids. So it's just dependent actually on the person that you're dealing with, because kids shouldn't make it or break it. Kids usually make a relationship better if you ain't got no terrible bad kids.
Right.
My kids were, when I left my ex-husband, my baby had just turned 1, and my oldest was 9. So I had a 1-year-old, I had a 3-year-old, I had a 6-year-old, 8-year-old, no, 6, 8. No, there was 5, 7, and 9. Because the 2 sets were 3 apart. And I had never experienced anybody treating my kids any differently. And even as I started dating as they got older, I ain't never had nobody come in there and say nothing about, oh, you got 5 kids and this and that. You know, when you go through a divorce, the first mind is like, oh my God, ain't nobody gonna want me. I got all of these kids. Mm-hmm. And it actually never happened, because if a person is into you, they really honestly accept what comes along with you.
Exactly.
All the way up until even in these New Year's, I had one guy who came in who was just so liberal. He thought he was gonna walk in my house. Now my kids are fully grown now, pretty much. And try and change the whole household. Sweetheart, you came into their house.
Right.
They respect you. Anything that you say to them, they gonna do, because they was raised like that. My kids are quiet. They ain't gonna just talk to you not unless you talking to them. And once you make them comfortable, then they talking to you all the time, because you become a part of whatever household. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But he came in and well, they gonna do this and they gonna do that. No, you gotta go.
Right.
Because they're raised and they're gonna respect you. Now we can change some things to fit you in, but no. But I really honestly promise you I've never dealt with a man, probably because of the type of woman that I am, that had baby mama drama. I've never, ever, ever, and I'm 45, ever experienced baby mama drama.
But the thing I'm saying is the co-parenting situation is, like you say, that's still left on the parents, but it comes to it's still left on that parent, because you still should be able to tell a person, if y'all in a relationship, this is what I'm gonna accept, this is not what I'm gonna accept. We're gonna treat my kids the same, because they all mine. Because if I got a child by this person, and then I got a child by you, they still all a part of me.
Absolutely.
So it's no way, like I tell people, like you were saying, and I have to tell other women who have several children or whatever, like we have these men on here where you got all these kids, ain't nobody gonna want you, like you should be glad. So no, because first of all, they say ain't no package deals and all of this. Anything that's a part of you it's a part of me. So it ain't no package deal. It's a part of me. This is who I am. If it's 7, 8, 9 other little pieces, but we all one. This is who I am. So it's not that I'm coming in and doing nothing for nobody else. No, you coming in and you loving up on me, and this right here is a part of me.
Absolutely.
So it's nothing, and that's the same way with women. You know, we get to the point where we met. I ain't finna be dealing with all them kids, and when you accepted that man, and that man have other children, and this is a person that you call yourself loving and want to be with, especially if you plan on marrying him, that's still a part of him.
Yeah, and that just goes along to say that you have to really figure out when you meet somebody, like what comes along with them.
Exactly.
Because
get to know those people.
Because
get to know those people. Get to know their situations. Get to know what's going on. Get to know how it's gonna be. Because you out here who and I I told somebody, and even a guy laughed at me. He told me, "What is wrong with you?" I say, I done dated a couple of people that had a lot of kids. I said they had those kids or whatever. I said, but them kids never bothered me or nothing like that. Like some of them half of them was grown, and then you got the other little spot, and that was like in both situations. Half of them was like already grown, because this was when, you know, like within the last like back in 10 years or so back in there. So half of the kids were like grown, and they may have had a few more young ones. But I didn't care nothing about none of that. If I was gonna be in a serious relationship with those people, and I was gonna marry or whatever I might have been, I didn't have no problems with those children.
And I ain't even lying.
I had no problem with those children.
Yeah, I was the total opposite from her. I had 5 kids, and I did not want to date people with kids.
And
that was because I had not ever dealt with baby daddy drama, and I did not want to go off into what I had been hearing about.
Oh yeah, it's ugly sometimes.
I had 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I did not date men with kids.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't, and eventually, like probably about 2017, I finally dated my first dude with a kid. And he had a little 3-year-old, and I was like thinking in my head, like 3-year-olds still attached to the baby mamas. I don't have time for that. But he was an upstanding man, and he took very good care of his son. And his son came into my life, and to this day, I still love the little boy to death. And we did a lot with that baby. He did a lot with his son, which made me kind of be persuaded to date somebody with kids. And then after that, I was more open to dating people with kids, because asking my husband at the time for a divorce was hard, but it didn't leave me with a tainted mindset like, oh, now we not together, you're not going to take care of the kids or whatever. And I mean, we had our little stuff back and forth, but it never affected the kids because they didn't never know what was going on. So
exactly.
Now dating people now, I date people with kids. But it's according to the daddy and what he doing. I'm not dating no deadbeat daddy. I just cannot do that.
I can't. And that's another thing, too. How can...
I can't.
You know, in women, I've seen women get mad at the other woman. I done seen women help the other women, but I done seen other women get mad at the other women because they was like, you just as trifling as he is, because how the hell you gonna lay up in the house with him and your kids and he don't even take care of his own kids.
That's a silly woman for
and
me.
I'm one of them type of women. I don't care if you got 50 and you doing the best you can do. I can respect you more that way. I cannot deal with a man that have kids out here that are not protecting us, doing something in their
I
kids'
had
life.
this one guy, he was
And it's a lot of
so
women, they think it's funny and
good
cute.
to me. He took good care of my kids, but you ask him about his, and he be like, F them. Like, literally the word F them. And I'm like, what?
That's sick.
And then my child come in, and you playing daddy. No, sir. I mean, he was cool. He was a good dude, but I could not date him.
And I would never, because when me and you get into it, something go on with us, then it's F my kids too. If you can F your own seed, I don't want to have nothing to deal with you.
Because
period.
if you can say that vulgar, at some point you'll be comfortable with saying F mine.
That's what I'm saying. And then and you just not the person for me, period. Because
well, he didn't talk that way to me.
I'm saying when you don't have when you don't have nothing to do with your own kids, and then when you literally, it's different if they keeping them from you and you don't have nothing to do with them. But if you don't have nothing to do with your kids and you have that to come out your mouth, I can't.
Yeah, it's hard. But you know what? Even with just what you said, it's hard dealing with men that the kids not in their lives, because the answer is it's because of the baby mama, but the kids are grown enough and got phones and things that can contact the dad, and they don't do that. It's always something missing in that. And
well, you know that comes, you like I say, you never know what the situation was when they was with them. You never know how they act towards they own kids and their mother. You never know what the mother told the kids.
Yeah, because a lot of women,
kids.
A lot of girls bandwagon with their mama. Some of them bandwagon with their daddy. Like my baby girl.
Yeah, a lot of kids.
She like, I can say half and half. Like depending on the situation, if she there while the situation happening, she running with whoever is in a situation, but she just have sense enough to be able to pretty much judge for herself. But I would never want a situation where I didn't have no parts of my kids. Like,
that's crazy.
It's crazy. It's a hard life, and it's kind of hard on a woman, because I've had a situation where dating somebody and the kids, like, he was a good dude. Like, the kids that he had around me, he took grand care of. And then the other ones were not present, and I never could understand it. And it's kind of hurtful to me, because I seen him hurting behind his children.
Right.
And you wonder, like, what type of person were you with? Because they baby is like 15 years old, which means the older ones is older than that. And you was married to her for a long time. And this one here with you and the other ones don't want no parts.
Because everybody has, that's what
me.
people, that's why I say it be, the scenarios and stuff be so different and all the things. So you basically can't deal with it, because even in that situation, he might be saying F those kids because those kids said F him. And that's his defense mechanism to, like, well, they don't care about me, so I ain't gonna care about them. So you still really have to know the scenario and all that. But just for somebody who just don't, because they broke up with, because you got a lot of them that once they break up with the mama, they think they supposed to break up with the kids.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
How
too.
You gonna break up with them still? You ain't gonna break
I
up
have
with the
people
kids.
who call me to do therapy with them, that you ask them, you ask them
And they think
questions
it's
about
okay.
their life, and they broke up with their wife. They could have been broke up with their wife. I'll be like, so when was the last time you seen your kids? Oh, 15 years ago, and it's nothing to them. Like, what in the heck you mean 15 years
Because
ago?
they broke up with the kids when they broke up with the wife, and that's crazy. And they think it's okay. Like, it's just like we speak on everything that's like a generational curse situations or stuff that constantly goes on.
I don't understand it.
It's normal. Say for instance, just like the scenario or the life that we're in, we are living in our communities, and we be like, when it get to the point where you hear gunshots and you don't flinch or you don't do nothing, you keep eating, you keep drinking, you keep laughing, and you keep talking, you keep doing everything, and you see a 5-6-year-old child that, oh, okay, and then they go back, instead of like we would do, or anybody else do, running for cover and all this and that. And that's another reason why a lot of times the kids do get caught up in all that, because they don't think to see cover. They don't think it's getting bad, let me go hide out, let me go this, because it's so normal and so natural to them, is what they used to. So when you that person might have been a product of that. Oh, well, my mama and my daddy got divorced,
I see.
and when my mom and my dad got divorced, we ain't never see our daddy again. Our daddy went on to have other kids and other families and went on about his business. So it's and we went on about our business and did everything. So it's normal. It don't matter that my dad over here with another 10 kids and I got all of these siblings that I might marry or whatever because I
Yeah.
ain't never seen my daddy no more. I don't know the siblings that he had or none of that.
Yeah, I kind of experienced later on, because like
Co-parenting,
meeting
we
my
gotta get
siblings
together.
when I got older and whatever the case may be, and it was very different for me because I had more than one man coming up to me thinking that they was my dad, and you trying to distinguish between what's what. You know what I'm saying? And I could have dated my cousins. I could have dated my
Right,
brothers.
you could
and all
date
of
your
that.
brothers and sisters.
You know, you just never actually know what's going on. So that's really a true statement. And then like me being grown and meeting them, I had a lot of bitterness built up in me, not toward them, but why wait till I'm grown to find me to make me meet them? Because I don't know nothing about you. I don't care nothing about them.
And I will feel robbed because
Yeah,
siblings.
but it was robbery.
Siblings,
It was
yeah.
robbery because it's a whole situation with that. But it was just like with my mother, she got siblings and things of that nature that I met when I got grown, and I went to a funeral with her, and I never forget this. And they was walking up to me and they was hugging me, and I busted out crying, and I was a full grown adult. This has been just a couple of years ago. And I got angry with her, and she was just looking at me like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm saying to her, I travel all over the world. I'm always in Memphis. Like, why don't I know my aunts and uncles?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm always in Memphis. These could have been people who I done went down there and met, start talking to them and hooked up with them and never knew that this was my family member.
Wow.
So she understood at that time like how I felt, and now I have an outstanding relationship with all my aunts and uncles because it's unfair for the kids not to know who their family is just
Exactly.
because the world is crazy. You be sleeping with your cousin, don't even know it's your cousin.
And that has been a whole lot of issues and a whole lot of things that was
Thanks,
going
girl.
on because
I got this from this girl Tiara.
I tell them all the time too. I said, even if we doing certain things and we want to be doing certain things and we want to live a certain way and we want to hide stuff and we don't want to do, how unfair is that? How unfair is that to the children? Because we also, that's their family. That's their family just as well. And we wondering how. Then you come around and you look, and then everybody looking stupid, or they trying to say, "Well, you don't want to date them. You don't want to." Why?
Well,
because y'all never told us, y'all. Because one person is always one auntie that remembers something or knows
Girl, I
something.
promise you.
Always one auntie.
I had one drunk uncle limping around telling me everything that I thought was lies as a kid because I thought he was a liar. And a lot of the things that he said later was the truth. And as much as I couldn't stand him, he is the one who really told me the truth.
Yeah, and then that's the first thing the family will say too. Don't listen to them. They drunk. They this. They but they
He
be
was
because
drunk.
they be telling. No, but don't say they be like they don't know what they time. They just making us stuff being stupid. Go somewhere and sell. But they be telling you the truth and all of that. And then that's why I say this. We have to learn how to be good co-parents because everything we do affects our children, and that affects they life. And even like I say, even the good things that I had to say about my kid's dad, he still had some messed up things that he had to get and deal with, and he probably would have stayed that way and not dealt with it if my son would have not tripped off of it. Because I'm gonna tell y'all a scenario in the situation. It was hella funny because we were together, so this man is all that my children knew. Even, because at one time we didn't live together, but we was together. He would come to the home and they would see him. Then we lived together, and like he was spending the night and all that. And then it got to the point where we actually lived together as a family, and they seeing all that. Then it got to the point where we separated, but he would come around, come over to the house spend the night, and they saw each other. Then it got to the point where we broke up, but we also all in church together and all this. So, but I knew I'm grown, so
I'm
I
sure it was
know.
just confusing as heck.
No, I'm saying
I
that's what I'm
get
saying.
it.
He come, he go. So this is all they know. They still never seen me with another man. They still
Okay,
never
so he was
seen
just
him
in
with
and out.
another
Yeah,
woman. Yeah. So basically, like I say, before we ever moved in together, we was a couple. So he would still spend the night in our home and stuff like
that's
that.
all
Go
they know
home, and
basically.
then they would still go with him and be with him. And then when we actually lived together, they was still used to their parents, and he was in the home. So even when he left the home, they still would see their parent because he still would get them. I get them, but they wouldn't see no other men. They wouldn't see no other women. So I knew that we co-parenting, but he to the point where I talk to my kids when I talk to my kids. Tell my kids don't need to know X, Y, and Z because they kids. I bring my other kids together, when I feel like I do them because they're kids. But I'm like, kids need to know. Kids need to know kids, and they need to know what's going on. So I knew that he had got a girlfriend or whatever. So, but I'm not tripping off of it because I don't care. So he's picking the kids up, and it was funny because I'm like, where the heck this man's truck at? When he picked him up, I didn't ever see it. And I was like, where your car? He's like, oh, it's parked back there. So basically, what he was doing, what he had started doing once he had the little girlfriend or whatever. So apparently she had some type of issues, and I know she had some type of issues with me and jealousy with me or whatever, because this was some chick out the church and she already knew me or whatever. I didn't know they was dating. I knew it was somebody, but I didn't know who it was. So he parking over like behind the apartment, over like on the side, not on the parking lot, but on the side of the street, whatever. And he's walking around to the house to get the kids, I guess, so she wouldn't exactly see where it was at, and I wouldn't see that the lady was in the car or whatever. So, but which I never cared. So he would get the kids or whatever, and he'll come back, he'll bring back and all that. So one day I was like, well, where the car at? Because a lot of times, I'm just like anybody else. I'm watching the kids go to the car with dad. I'm waving them off and all of that. And then I'm like, where's the car? Okay, whatever. Bye, get your kids. So, so I was on the phone, talking on the phone one day to one of my girlfriends, and we just talking whatever. You know how the kids be in there with you or whatever, and I'm like, first of all, we talking trash now, so they don't need to be around me. And second of all, y'all making too much noise. Damn it, mama can't hear it. So I'm like, y'all get out of my room and go play in y'all room. Y'all got the living room. Y'all got whatever. Y'all got y'all own room. So my youngest son, he left out. Mind you, these kids like 2 and 4, 3.5, 4, 3 and 4. I don't even think Derek was 5 yet. And so Derek wouldn't leave. Chris left. Derek wouldn't leave. He's still just driving his car in his truck. And I'm talking. I'm like, Derek, get out of here. So I'm like, woo, whatever. So he just break out and he say, mama. Never looking at me now. He just driving his little truck on the dresser and all that. And he talking about, mama. I'm like, what, Jarrell? He like, all I gotta say is you need to get you a new man because the one you got cheating on you. I was like, I'm gonna call you back. I said, what did you say? He's like, you need to get you a new man because the one you got cheating on you. A lot of people like my kids they just was highly intelligent like that. Yeah, they kids are like that. It's stuff that you wouldn't think they are doing. Say, like I say, we didn't curse around our kids. We didn't whoop our kids. We didn't do none of that. When they got adults and older, they can do whatever they want to do. But when my kids were smaller, we didn't curse them. We didn't do none of that. We didn't curse around them. None of that. So we didn't talk around them, any of that stuff. So I was like, it was shocking, but it wasn't shocking because the way my children conversate and they say things, and I know their level of intelligence. But it was shocked that he was sad because I'm like, what would make you? I said, why would you say that? He told me because daddy got that girlfriend, and that ain't right because he don't need to be having that girlfriend and you his woman. I'm like, what? I said, so I immediately sat my son down, and I was like, I don't know. Well, you must not have been aware. I say that your father and I are no longer together. I say we're still friends, but we're not in no relationship. We're not getting married or no stuff like that. We're not in no relationship. So it's okay for him to have a girlfriend. I say it's okay for mommy to have a boyfriend. I say it doesn't mean that daddy he love you any different. It doesn't mean that mommy love you any different. I say we both still love you. We love each other, but we're just not the type of people that able to be together as husband and wife no more, whatever. So we're gonna have new people. Nah, he was like, nah, I ain't finna deal with that. He was like, if he don't love you, I don't love him. And I'm all like, what are you speaking on, son? Why would you say that? I say, your daddy love you. I say, so him having a girlfriend has nothing to do with me. I say, he's not cheating on me. We're not together. Nah, he don't love me. He don't love you. I don't love him. And then he all on me like, I love you, mommy. It's okay. You don't got to worry about him. I love you. And I'm like, I love you too, but your dad love you. He was all like, nah. So I'm sitting here like, what do I do? So I was like, okay, mommy love you. We over it. I was like, okay, I'll tell daddy about the girlfriend, but it's okay. So I immediately called his dad, and I'm like, you know, you should have said something. I said, I know you got a girlfriend. I really don't care. But when you're doing this co-parenting thing, you need to speak on these things so we can talk to our children together and let them know. I said, because now your son's sitting over here saying he ain't being bothered with you. He don't love you because you don't love him and all that. And I was like, you need to talk to your son. I don't gotta talk to no kid. That's a kid. I don't gotta talk to him. He don't need to be in grown people conversations or grown people business and all that. I say he's a kid, but he's already in your business when you decide to pick him up with her, bring her to our home and pick him up when he don't know no difference, and you around her hugging kids, whatever you doing. I mean, I'm quite sure you're not doing as much, but our kids are intelligent enough to know this the stuff you do with mommy. This is your girlfriend. So why are you doing this when you supposed to be doing it with my mom? So he didn't want to talk about it, discuss it, whatever. I'm like, well, my hands are tied.
Pretty much.
My hands are tied. So we at church, and we leaving church. The kids won't go around him, and then I also heard my sons together because it's funny. The conversations that my children used to have was like two old men. And even my parents, everybody, people around them, they used to be amazed when they heard them just having their little conversation because they're like old people and they're using words that grown people don't even know. And I'm like, okay, I'm hearing them having a conversation, yeah, because daddy doing this and he don't love mama. We ain't gonna be dealing with him and all this. And I'm like trying to conversate with him, and he to the point where they kids, I don't have to explain myself to no children. They'll understand or do whatever. So like I say, so they didn't wouldn't be bothered with him at church. We getting ready to leave. We walking across the parking lot. I'll never forget it. We walking across the parking lot, and he called the kid's name, and they wouldn't turn around and go to him or nothing. They running off, and he like, "What, sons? Why y'all come here?" My child literally freaked out and started crying and shaking, holding on to me. Mama, I don't want daddy. I don't want. I'm like, and when he saw that, his butt opened his mouth. I said, "You can't say." You can't say you're not gonna speak to them because they're a kid. Because children have feelings, emotions, and they know the stuff that's going on. So after that, he had to speak to his kids.
Yeah, and then another thing with that is like a lot of people that call me for this to call me to do therapy with them.
Yeah, it messes your kids up.
It messes your kids up because
co-parenting is heavy.
Divorce. If the kids have been in a home with you, if you guys have been together, you ain't even have to be husband and wife.
Like
could have been.
Mm-mm.
You could have just had a man like your first guy that was in their life forever, and he never actually parented the other child, but he parented the other one. You have to have conversations.
Yes.
People don't think that they owe their kids explanations for anything,
and wonder why they messed up for
if
life.
you talking to your kids about what's going on versus just bringing people around. And I learned this. I learned this later on in dating. Before I brought people around my kids, I would talk about the person.
Mm-hmm.
I would get them familiar with who the person was. I would talk to them in front of them. I would talk about the kids to them so that they can hear me adding them to the conversation. And, first it'd be like, who is that? And then once they get familiar with hearing you talking to them, because it's not somebody that's just coming into their house, they felt like they was a part of the conversation. Because a lot of times we think, oh, I'm done with this one. I'm going to just talk to somebody else and bring them right in.
Mm-hmm. And
you didn't give your kids time.
You did not, because, and that's what I tell people. I say children have attachment just like you have attachment.
And I've learned that over the years. Like with my middle son, he either like you or he don't want nothing to do with you. But as we got older, he started to tell me different things about how he felt with certain people. With certain people who I may have dated or whatever the case may be. So it taught me a lot as I was getting older or whatever, because I got out of my marriage when I was 28 years old. I was getting older, but I was still young. So being with somebody for as long as I was with him, and then coming back outside, because now you're orphaned in these streets when you're no longer married, you still learning. So like the next relationship I was in for 7 years. So they never seen nobody outside of that 7 years, and they hadn't seen anybody outside of Alan when me and Alan were married or whatever.
Right.
So you have to really just be mindful that just as much as you're there, so are those children. If you got somebody that's upstanding, no matter if y'all break up or whatever the case may be, you have to give your kids time to adjust too, because not only are you losing something, but so are the kids. And a lot of times people don't think about that. I tell guys when they trying to date me and they bringing kids into my life, I don't know how to unlove.
Thank you.
In real life, whether it's a relationship or whatever, friendship or whatever, in order for you really to unlove things, you have to get away from it for a span of time so you just don't think about it, because it's not that you don't love them. When you bring a child and a child into a relationship, sometimes these children don't have mothers. Don't have
what the computer doing?
Cable not connected. It says cable not connected.
Where is it? Oh. Okay.
We slow. Sorry, y'all.
We slow.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you have men that bring their kids into the situation, and you have some men that just detach. I dated a guy who basically told me that every woman he met, the kids was gonna meet. And I never understood this because he was kind of like a serial dater a little bit. Every woman that he brought in, he would break up with you and he would be in something 2 days later. 2 days later, he would break up with them and then he would be with another woman. And you would literally see pictures of him, the new woman, and the kids.
And that's crazy.
And I couldn't understand that because you ain't even took the person before you off of the scent of the person off of you, and you already got another scent.
And that's where we go wrong. Like when we say when it's time, co-parenting consists of a lot of things. When, like you said, when you're dating and you have children, and you're co-parenting, or you a parent that's just by yourself, but you still have to realize what's going on with those children, because once we bopping these kids to the daddy house, to the mama house, to all the grandparents, all this, and then we're bringing all these people into their lives, that's another part of co-parenting that you have to be on the same page with, because just out of that situation, I knew off of that one situation is that now you can't bring my kids around all these women and all this stuff without letting me know, without talking to them first. I don't care who you date. But when you start doing all this stuff, do not bring these people around my children until you know this is who you're going to be with and what's going on.
Some men that you date,
because I don't bring the men around.
Yeah, background
around your son,
is
so I
very
don't
different
women around
than
mine.
the upbringing that you have for your kids, and you really have to cut. When my kids were little, I cut a lot of people completely out of my kids' life until they was big enough to tell me what was going on for their protection. And when you got kids, you just really got to be mindful. The world is wicked. You know what I'm saying? And you just never know. So I was basically the house that everybody had to come to because they wasn't going nowhere. I was very, very
That's why I said my children,
with all 5 of them kids, when they were little kids, couldn't talk and couldn't tell me. Only person who ever probably kept my kids was my auntie. My aunt Angie kept my kids when they was little. And that's just because we was so close, and I knew that she was going to take care of them like I did.
That's the only place my kids went. They went 3 places. They went to my dad's house, to their dad's house when we broke up, and to my cousins.
My
and
kids
2 of my
didn't
cousins' house. That was it.
My kids only went to my auntie's house when they was little.
None of my aunts,
kids
uncles,
ain't
just 2
really
of my cousins and
spent a night nowhere. Now the kids went to their granny's houses, of course. They went to their granny's houses, but other than that, they did not go spend the night nowhere because of the things that I've experienced. I just refused on purpose not to let them go through what I knew could happen to them. So that saved a lot of things. But nowadays, dating these people, they backgrounds be different, and I have to tell some guys that have came on to me throughout the years, like, what your life entails, mine does not. Like, my house is a quiet home. You come into my house, I had 5 kids, but not unless they was up and talking and laughing and goofy, you would never know that I had 5 kids in my house because my mother was quiet, which means I was quiet. My granny was quiet. She had 6 kids and her house wasn't loud. So that's just the life that I live. You got people that come in your house, they loud, they disrespectful. And my kids mad because they want to go to sleep because we used to respectfully letting each other sleep. You up moving around and doing all this, we don't know nothing about that. Then lifestyles be different, no. So you really
when you co-parent, that's why. So you co-parents and you have to. You have to be willing to go through all these things and do all of these things and conversate. It's got to be some conversations.
Right.
I'm just gonna say it's got to be some conversations about this man and some conversations about this woman. Not that you in nobody business or you care who you dating, but when it's really true and it's really real.
Vigilant.
When you have children, you have the right to know who are these people.
Vivian, yes,
and,
ma'am.
And if they're gonna be around my children.
Because the thing is, you definitely got to be from religion, all kind of things. You have people where you've been doing a certain type, you raising your kids a certain type of way, and they'll come in and everything that you done taught, they'll come in with they understand it and trying to force it on your kids. You got your kids turning around questioning you about things. Not that I would not want my kids to have understanding, but this is how I've raised them. You have people who come in and tell you what they not gonna do, coming into where you at. And you have people who have different lifestyles behind the scenes. And they coming in and slowly they opening up your kids to stuff that you ain't never in your life even knew nothing about. And I've experienced this because my kids got older and told me some stuff that they seen. My lip
it's crazy.
Still drops because I'm like, how, what, when, what?
It even goes all the way back to the food. It goes all the way back to the food situation too, because we had other situations like some people do. Like we were speaking last time, and it was like some people, well, you don't touch my refrigerator, you don't go in my refrigerator, unless you ask me. We eat at this time, and at this time you eat what I cooked, and
or
at
you
this
gotta
time,
sit down because my kids don't. My kids can't walk around the house.
Yeah,
or either the ones who
or you gotta get up at a
kids.
certain time, and you gotta lay down. If it's the weekend or they tired, they can lay down to the sunrise and go back down and come up again tomorrow.
Yeah,
you know,
or they got to
like
wake up all the kids because y'all can't sleep all day, but they done went to school all week and the weekend. You know,
stuff like that.
Yeah, so you really, really, in this day and time, I'm very glad that I don't have no little kids.
Especially when it comes to food.
But I be on my daughter so much about like letting her daughter go around people because these kids is wild. Remember, I was just telling y'all a couple of weeks ago how my grandbaby was learning all this stuff from YouTube, going into other people's houses.
And
that got all this tainted mess going on in their house, and they're teaching her how to get on YouTube and look at stuff about committing suicide and being gay, and she's 7 years old. And then I get a hold to the website, and these are people who you entrust.
Yeah. And that's, I say you have
to be very
vigilant. You got to be very vigilant, and you have to, like I say, you have to have some type of info or background on these people that are co-parenting with the other parent. And it's good to know about these people. Like I said, I could care less who you date or what you do. Even if they're not the type of people that I want around my kids, you still can date them, but I don't want my children around these people. And then, like I say, we're gonna branch off into the other scenarios.
When you say that though,
if you got some bad stuff that's going on and you mistreating my child and all that, he can date them till hell freezes over. But my child cannot go around.
Well, what happens? What happens when you take your kid over there and the girl wasn't there and she ends up there and you come back and she's there after you told him your kid cannot be around her?
Then that's gonna come in, and that's where the battle and the situation come in. That a lot of, like I say, you choose your battles on a whole lot of situations. And if it's a battle, it's always a battle zone when it comes to mine.
I just feel like
if you're doing the wrong thing.
I just feel like as parents, we are supposed to protect our kids with our lives.
That's why I say it's a battle
Mother or
zone.
father, grandparents, all of us. When it comes to the kids, everything goes. I have been through very many situations with a grandmother who just decided that she just was gonna mistreat me, but it never affected the way I allowed her to be with my kids, because I always prayed that whatever she felt for me, for whatever reason she decided she want to feel like this, my kids never got a hold of it. And I hurt in silence to allow my kids to know their grandmother, because you can't control how people are, but I can control, my response to things.
Right.
And even though I did that, later on I found out some things that had been said anyway, that I couldn't protect them from everything. But I pray to God that they got older and they understood for themselves, because they never heard me bad mouthing the daddy, or bad mouthing the granny, or they didn't do this or they didn't do that. I stayed in my lane and I let them do them. When they went over there, I wasn't all over there. Well, you got to treat them. When I dropped them kids off by.
That's what they was at. That's why I said I got to the point where I didn't even have to drop them off. They came and got them.
Well, they came and got them.
No, I'm just saying it got to the point where I wasn't even no longer even had the drop off, pick up or nothing.
Girl, I ain't never had.
I was like, get y'all. I was like, yeah, come get y'all.
You have some
kids.
people. You have some people who When I asked my husband for the divorce, I told him when these kids get a certain age, you getting them. And people be looking at me like, you gonna let him take his kids?
Girl, that cracked me up. Not your kids.
You gonna let them take your kid? Heck, and yeah, honey, he laid down and went half on these kids with me, and I got 3 that's older, and I'm finna have 2 more on my own 5, and he just out here living. No, ma'am, bye.
And I also went through that situation because I lived in Ferguson, Florissant area. So the kids went to Ferguson, Florissant School District. And then I moved, which he lived in the Ferguson, Florissant area, and I lived in the Ferguson, Florissant area. So our children went to the Ferguson, Florissant School District, and I left. He bought a home over there, and I left and went and moved in Jennings area. Jennings, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't like it. I mean, I literally went in there kicking doors and all type of stuff in the grade schools and all of that. So we just decided to put the kids back in the Ferguson Florissant School District because, okay, this is their dad. Everybody knows us because we go to school with whatever's going on. And he has a home there, so they able to go. It wasn't no problem with it. They don't live in the district and all that. Their dad has a home there. So when we put them back in the school district, it was just easier for the kids to stay there with him and go to school, and then me to come and get them. Basically, it was the varsity thing where the quote unquote the normal thing that was always going on. The kids at home all week with school, do it with the mom, and then on the weekend is what they spend with the dad. The roles got reversed.
Well, the thing is,
so people had something to say. I'm just saying it was quote unquote.
People made these roles to fit their lifestyle.
So when it was done that way, people had conversations or stuff they wanted to do and say. And like I say, I don't have to explain myself to you because these are not your children. These are my children and his children.
Stop being friends with me.
So they're gonna go to their dad's house and stay and go to school.
Being friends with me when I told her that my daughter was with her daddy because she had been in a situation where her mom and dad weren't together, but she was in love with her mom and she was in love with her dad, and she just figured in her mind life was supposed to go a certain way. My kids would be. I always had a home big enough for everybody to come. They would go to his mama house. He would come there or whatever the case may be. And the kids was happy. So that's all that mattered to me.
Thank you.
Trying to say, oh, I did all this by myself. No, baby, we did this. You know what I'm saying? All of these kids that you see are a product of the whole village raising them. Yeah. So I never had to just completely do all of this on my own. I can't walk around here acting like, oh, I did this all by myself. No, I did not.
Exactly.
I was capable of taking care of my kids and have. But here's the thing. When you have kids with the parent, it's 2 of y'all. It's not 1 of y'all. And I learned a long time ago, my mama had 3 kids. And she had all 3 of her kids all of our life by herself. Although the dads may have been vigilant or something at some point, but she had her kids. And I just refused to love somebody, to lay down and have kids for them because this is what he said he wanted. And to have him out here living high off the hog and not taking care of his kids. And he just wasn't the type of person who didn't love his kids. So I never experienced that issue. And that's why it was such a big deal to me to see him dealing with anybody who did not treat his kids the same way that we had treated them. And then she had 5 children of her own.
Whoa.
So it was weird for me because, like, dude, So with that being said, it made me pay attention to everybody that came around me because you doing this in in plain sight.
Oh, okay.
And as mean as he be acting, as crazy as he acting, I'm like, how did you find love in somebody like this? Because like you mean as heck. You mean to tell me you just finna let somebody act like this with your daughter?
But like I told people, co-parenting is for the parents. And then if you a part of their lives when you dealing, then you need to come into grips and come together with what those parents decided to do with their kids, because like you said, it does come to it does ban out and fan out to, this is how I raise my kids, and this is what's going to go on. So this is how your other children's mother, or your um fiance, wife, or whoever it might be, whether y'all got kids together or she just have our own kids. This is might be how y'all doing stuff and raising stuff, y'all kids and y'all home this way, and this is how I'm raising mine. Y'all have to still come to some type of agreement on what is what, because even all that comes down to religion, discipline, all that type of stuff. Like co-parenting, a lot of people don't believe in you putting your hands on their kids, period. A lot of people don't believe, they don't care who you is, the parents get into it about
Them
spanking,
spanking their kids well.
because like me, I'm not a spanker.
Well,
I will tap or something like that, but my kids didn't get with me. But my kids was mainly like me. When they was smaller kids, my kids didn't do nothing, so they didn't have to get a whooping. They argued quietly. In the room. They dad used to laugh. He's like, come here. I'm like, what? He told so. Why your kids in our arguing? I'm like, no, why your kids in our arguing? I said, I don't hear nothing. We literally got a tip to their door and stand at their door to listen to them in our car. They still arguing or whatever. Because like you say, my kids was never loud.
My kids were little, but it was 5 of them, and they got their butts beat when they needed to. I ain't never beat no kids because they
But
wasn't.
the thing I'm saying, I did. Yeah, my kids didn't. People always say kids do stuff, but my kids didn't do stuff to the point where they had to get a whooping. You can say something to them and straighten his nip.
Yeah.
I didn't get a whooping, and I wasn't no kid. My siblings got their butt towed up because they did stuff, and they'll tell you, oh, I was doing all type of stuff. The stuff that they did, I would never do. I just guess my kids were just lower on just doing shit to get in trouble or whatever, or to get caught doing stuff to get whoopings, because I didn't do
I wasn't
it
no
either.
bad kid, and if I got caught in something, it was just because I was sloppy than a mug at the end, because we didn't get caught. If we got caught at the last end of doing something that we needed to get caught, because we was
now they kids. I done whooped they kids, but so y'all can say I didn't want to, but I was pop.
My
kids something else.
Yeah, my kids, honestly.
But my kids and me, we didn't
my
get
daughter,
whoopings.
my oldest daughter, she probably got popped a couple of times because she was a girl, and it was just a certain way that I felt like girls should be treated. And I didn't allow my sons to hit my daughter, period, because she was a girl. And I felt like if they hit her, the world was going to be okay with hitting her, because they looking at this man who will one day be a man.
Well, I ain't allow my boys to hit each other. That pissed me off. Don't put your hands on my
I didn't
kid.
let them fight.
No, I ain't believing
now
that.
my sons, baby, they was good kids, and out in the public, they was the greatest kids, and you would never know I had 5. But baby, I had to beat they little butts, because if I didn't whoop they little butts, the world was, because they was doing some Power Ranger flipping, kicking each other in the face, doing all this crazy stuff. And I taught in their school when they was little to make sure that they had the curriculum that I wanted them to have. I taught they pre-K class before they got over in kindergarten in my friend's school. So them kids was bad. B-A-D, bad. I can't walk around here and tell nobody my kids, them boys was bad. Ray, my oldest girl, he did everything. Sweetest kid in the world, but just do stuff. Had this little attitude problem when he was little, to tap his butt. Now he is the kindest, calmest minister kid you'll ever know. Still got his own mind made up, but he got his butt beat. Xavier, my 23-year-old, Xavier had autism. And when he was little, I didn't know he had autism. Banging his head, bad. I mean, just doing everything in the world. He didn't get as many whoopings because I understood that I had to love on him different. Jason, the baby boy, he was sneaky. He'll do something and he'll turn it around. He'll steal your money and put it in his thing. You have to say, like, Jason, we got to the point where we would say to him, me and my husband at the time, Jason, where'd you put our money up at so nobody would get it? He come back handing us $100 bill. He think he the bank keeper because this is how we had to make him understand, you know, that stealing, we had to make him understand that stealing was wrong, but you only could do that here.
You have to let him. You have to make it understand that that's what it was.
Yeah, we didn't want to call him a thief.
That's what it's considered as. Maybe he wasn't meaning it like that. He just like the money. He trying to put the money.
He was smart enough to know that this money sitting here. He would pick your money up, fold it up, and go fold it up 5 or 6 ways, and go put it and hide it somewhere. And when you ask for it, we'll be looking all over. He'll be like, "Boo boo, come here." I'll be like, "Boo boo, go in there and get mama money that was sitting on the bed." And make it seem like it was a award or some or reward, and he would bring me my money back. Yeah, hundreds of dollars.
That's like what I'm saying. He didn't have no idea what that was.
Yeah,
but if
and
you didn't
wasn't
explain,
gonna start calling him no thief.
If you didn't explain to him what it was, or you didn't find a way to get your money back to let him know that if you pick up something, you take something, it's not yours. You still have to give it back.
He was one.
I mean, my grandbaby.
He was 2.
It's funny because my grandbaby. Well, he don't say stealing, but my grandbaby be like, "Oh, grandma, I love coming up in here because I be finding all stuff." I'm like, first of all, sir, let me get you together. You don't find nothing in nobody else's private places. Right. You don't find nothing. This is my room. This is my home. So you didn't find anything. Anything in here belongs to me. Just like your toys and your things that's laying around, your money. I said if it's laying in your home and all of that, and somebody walk in and take it, that's not finding stuff. That's stealing. That's stealing. And I say, and stealing lands you up in jail. Tomorrow, what? I told you my grandson tomorrow. What? I say, yeah. So well, grandma, can I keep it? There you go. I say you ask for things that you want because first of all, it's a learning thing. Kids don't really know. They know, oh, money. Okay. Because just like the little girls that you'll see that would take the money and fold it up and put it in their shirts and
because they've been watching. Because
they've been watching they old aunties or their grandmamas and all that. I'm like I tell people, I'm 16 years older than my sibling, my sister, 12 years older than my brother. So when I have the one auntie that kept her money in her boobs all the time, whole coin purses and all that. So she would always take it out and give people money. My sister have seen people do it, but it just tickled them. She wasn't even one. And they would take the money and give her money. And she put her shirt and pat it up. And they like, look at that baby. And my other auntie, it used to crack her up. She would give her money just to see her do it. Because she thought that was just the funniest thing ever. But, they know about money. They don't know the intensity of it or what you really do or need with it, but they just know this money and I'm supposed to protect it because they see us put now put that money in your pocket, don't lose it. Yeah, so they know to put their money
up. And then a lot of times what people don't understand is like with him being as little, picking up money and going to put it up. If I would have started saying to him, quit stealing my money, I would have already taught him that he's a thief.
Exactly. And that's why I say when you doing stuff and you know who your kids is and they're a certain way, when you co-parenting and you taking your kids places to meet other people or in homes with other people, y'all still have to be on one accord when it comes to raising your kids. And then when we move on to the other aspects of the craziness of that's one of my biggest pet peeves that really pisses me off.
What's that?
Is like I say, when we throw the children away because of they say mistake, but it ain't no mistake. It was a fucking choice that your husband or your boyfriend or your lived-in man or whoever they made. Because I look at it. I know it's hurtful, but I look at
outside baby,
the outside babies in the marriages and all of that. I look at it if, like they say. The same way they say if you're going to forgive a woman, forgive a man.
Him and the baby would have been outside.
But that's the type of person that I was saying. I don't even see myself forgiving him. But I would always want to know the type of person I am. I would still always want to know where the child is at, what's going on with the child, because now this child is a part of my child.
Well, here's the thing.
So I would want to keep in contact and know what
if I was married and my husband was married to me and decided to go out and cheat and came in some kind of way, had a baby on the way, him and that baby would be outside. I love God, I love kids, but that's just something that I already know that I would not be able to handle, and I would get out of the situation. Now, I can't say after some years or some time, after some growth, after maybe I didn't clear my space of,
Right.
the infidelity and all that, because that's a lot hurtful.
Yeah.
And
It
especially,
hurt whether if you're not married.
yeah, but the thing is, a lot of times when people having kids outside the marriages, people really be knowing that they men be out here cheating. The only thing is you hoping that they don't get a kid. I ain't got time for that. If I feel like you're going to be outside of our marriage cheating, I don't want you no way, because I don't want that mistake, because that's what it's going to be for me, a mistake coming into my life, because we didn't make this choice together. So I'm going to need you
Right,
and your
that
little
was his
baby
choice.
to go on outside. And maybe some years from now when I can handle it, because I would want my kids to be siblings to whoever it is.
Right.
Depending on the type of woman, because you do have women who prey on married men and know just what they doing. I've seen a few. I got friends who will tell you right now, yep, I slept with him and got pregnant with him on purpose because I hated her.
Yeah, I mean that's why I say all you got. That's another thing. Like I say, you have all of your different scenarios with the situation, but just the situation on hand, the whole thing where you married or you have a guy that y'all a couple and y'all have a family and y'all live together and all that, and he go out and he gets a baby, and you take him back and you still loving on him, living your life, you still got your family and all that, but and it just goes to the other point of how you going to, all of that feeds back into the point where that's just trifling for you to think that I want to be bothered with a man that don't want to have nothing to do with his other kids, because you basically saying, well, I'm gonna take you back and you could be here with me and my kids, but you can't go around your other child.
But
or you can't bring that child around me.
lot of men, when they get caught
If you
up,
take him back,
as a woman, we would
deal
think
with
like
the woman,
that, but
with
a
the
lot
kid.
of men, no, a lot of men, and when you hurt somebody, you hurt them. So a lot of times they like, that was a mistake. Most of the men talking it up, because a real man would make a decision to leave if he already knew that this was going to be an issue. Ain't nobody real gonna stay in something that's gonna keep them away from nothing.
I done seen people, husbands dead, then died, and everything else right now, or wives or whatever. I done seen this personally goes on, and that woman, I done seen where women
hate the kids forever.
They took the husband back, they took the boyfriend back, went on and lived their life and all that, and never just. The kid is their enemy,
because the daddy then made some type of agreement with that woman about that outside kid. It'd be a lot to that. I didn't watch people go through that.
That's what I'm saying. I know what the lot is, because I done talked to the woman. The woman like, I stated that I do not want to set eyes on this kid. I don't never want to see the kid. I don't want the kid around me. I don't want to talk about the kid. You can't talk about it. You can't do nothing. Don't ever say nothing to me about this kid. But I'm like, how in the world could you ever have all of these children, even if it ain't no but another children, by a man that you're married to, grandkid, all of this, and your children don't even know nothing about this child? That's not that child's fault.
Yeah, but I mean,
that child should be allowed to know their siblings.
That's
and all
the agreement the husband and the wife made up under a commitment that they made to God, and whatever he went outside and defiled their marriage is on him. It did not put it on her. So that's their choice. I don't get into people.
No, that's why I say I'm just saying.
Yeah, but it's sickness. When we was kids,
you do that?
When we was kids, think about the older women that knew these men had went outside and had kids and accepted it, and it was okay.
I mean, but that's the choice. You didn't have to accept it.
But back then they did have to.
But you accepting him. But you accepting him. But you want the kid to like die and go away. How? Because now this is a whole nother child that's a part of your kid.
When I was married, if my husband would have brought a kid into our marriage, him and that kid had to go.
I wouldn't stay with my husband.
But that's the difference. We respect it.
He still would have been allowed to introduce my kids to their siblings. If I don't never want to have nothing to do with the kid or him, that's a totally different story. But for me to have this man laying up in my house for the next 30, 40, 50 years till he die or whatever it is, and this child is out here, and I never want to see or nothing or allow, I don't want my kids around this child and all of that, that's, to me, like, that's just like you ain't you if you're agreeing to forgive and all of that, you never even really
Well,
forgave
the
him
thing
because
is,
now
she ain't.
this
She
is his
didn't forgive him.
punishment. Exactly. Now I feel like this is you punishing him forever for the stuff
But
that you
that's
feel like he
but
did to you.
that's
So that's
his
a mess
choice
up
as a
mess.
man to not accept it.
Yeah, and it's her choice
I
as a
know
woman
some
not to
women
do
who
it.
then separated from their guys for a couple of weeks and came back pregnant from another man, and the man stayed with the woman.
But being separating and come back is a total story than being with me and going out and making a kid on me, and then I accept you but never accept the kid.
Well,
The kid ain't did shit
I
to
don't
you.
have that kind of strength in me. If you go
I
out,
wouldn't want to be bothered.
yeah, if I'm not that woman. If I'm not enough that you had to go out when we already have alive, breathing children outside of our marriage to go and bring another baby into this, you better had kept it a secret. And years later, if I found out, because okay, I have a situation with somebody that I know that was close. She had this husband, but she was so freaking mean to her husband, girl. Treated her husband so freaking bad. And then here come years later, this man got a little bitty kid on her because she was older when they got together, and he didn't went out. He had no kids. Well, so she thought. Come to find out, he had a baby outside of their marriage. It broke her heart. But she had already broke his heart so many times that when she found out about it, he went ahead and went over there with the baby mama and the son, and he's raising the son right now to this day. So it's kind of like, for real, she got her karma back, but it was still wrong because I think the baby was like 9 when she found out about the boy, and it was sickening. I couldn't see myself being in no situation like that. It's too much going on out here.
But that's another situation where marrying people with no kids. Marrying men, and I guess
We need to make that a show.
I'm just gonna say, that was one of the topics that I was gonna have too. So maybe next week when we come in, that could be our topic.
How
Y'all
do you
guys look
be-
for that.
Yeah.
Marrying people who have no children.
No, not-
basically men, because
Or getting in a relationship with someone when you're incapable of having kids and he has none and he's still young enough that he can have them.
or you not want none and they want some,
Because you didn't got your little tubes tied.
Yeah, because I was gonna, like I say, we can we'll jump back into our other things, but we can discuss that. That'll be part of something we can discuss next week, because I also had the point where like you say, marrying people or dating people who doesn't have children but you do. So and you don't want no more. So you basically, to me, you're robbing them. And where I came off with this topic jumping off is because from another topic, and I think I heard it on the radio, and I said I wanted to bring that up too. Last names. When you get married, they were saying when you get married, how do you feel about your name? For as a male and a female, and then I heard people saying different things, but then I also heard the man on the radio say, it wouldn't matter to me, it's just the name, but it's just the name.
I didn't, when I only been married one time,
It's
and
not
I
just the
did
name,
not,
though.
I didn't take my husband's last name.
But it's not,
And
but
it wasn't
it's not just
because
the
of
name.
it wasn't because of my husband. It was because of the situation attached to my husband. I didn't want to carry that last name. Like, his dad was the McCarter, and they was dope to me. Like, they was the best family to me. But the mother also had McCarter too, and she would just treat me so bad that I didn't want the names.
Okay, so we'll save all our
We'll talk
conversation
about
for
that
that
next week.
because y'all tune in on that, because names do matter, and
It matters to some
having
people.
children do matter. Names
Well, nowadays, women taking the dang on men taking the
but
women last name.
That's what we were speaking on. But names, y'all have all y'all point of views and questions and all that, because names is everything. Names carries on your family and your generation
and your legacy.
Yeah. So basically, back to, we almost done, but back to this co-parenting thing. Like we say, we could take different scenarios and different situations where things can get really out of hand, and then they can also be good, because like I say,
Blended family.
Stuff went on. We had a couple of little bumps. It wasn't perfect, but it was perfect for us. It worked for us. We had a few little bumps in the road to where even the food. Another thing with the food situation, she couldn't fucking cook. She didn't know how to cook. Her food was horrible. The kids would say her food is horrible. And so I most definitely made sure I sent food when I sent them because
You understood that she couldn't
I
cook.
understood she couldn't cook.
But you
so
know
I
what?
was sending them stuff that they can do, and I was sending stuff that they sister like, they daddy like. I didn't know really what she liked, but I would make sure I sent stuff over there that my kids, that all of them I know that they eat, and they're like, if it wasn't number pizza, something that everybody can eat. Huh, girl, if you can't cook a pizza, then I'm gonna need you to let the kids do it.
I want
Warm it up.
honestly.
But we have bumps in the road with that because the kids be like, Mama, I said, Mom cannot cook to something. And Daddy gonna tell us we gotta eat it and start laughing, gonna order him a pizza and go downstairs and eat it. I told him, I said, no, you eat your own damn wife cooking. And I said, don't be over there punishing my kids. I said, she'll not cook. We laughed about it now that they told so Daddy over here laughing to myself. This stuff is horrible. And my sister eating it. I was like,
I would honestly,
that was a fun.
yeah,
That
I
was
would
funny to
honestly
me.
like with my ex-husband or whatever the case may be. I would honestly pray that, I mean, our kids are older, but I've always wanted, after we weren't together, that he found happiness with somebody that actually made him happy. That if he brought them around, that we could be cool. Cause like, it took him a long time to accept. I don't care who I was dealing with. He would come around to get the kids or whatever, but he wouldn't say nothing. And then I dated somebody a couple of years ago, and that was the first time that he ever had a conversation with the guy. I don't know if he was feeling good that day or whatever the case may be, but like me and him, he could tell me anything about his situation, and I'm his friend because I've always been his friend, in a relationship or whatever the case may be. So I just would pray that if he found somebody, that she would love him and accept,
His kids.
accept the kids and treat them. I don't care if they grown at this age that they are, or if they were little kids, like accept them and love them the way that he loved them. Because people be for the man or for the woman, and they don't be for the kids.
Because that's what that, and then like I say, kids they feel that energy in their vibes, and my kids probably just felt, I asked them, did she treat them bad or did or said something, and they was like, no, but it could have been the energy and the vibe that they got from him because it was somebody that was actually at the church, and I had ended up going to the church, and that's why I was like, it was not one day that I didn't see my children, even though they spent the night at their dad's house for 4 days and went to school, and I got them on that day because the dad worked for the church. I think he still do. So he was at church 7 days a week, and I was there like 4 because
So you almost was the first lady.
Well, no, we wasn't the pastors and the bishops.
I don't know, 7 days a week.
But he was there 7 days a week. I wasn't.
Which I went to Church of God in Christ.
Nah, girl, we went to Abundant Life City of Life. But that the way they had it set up, it was something going on every night, and that was another reason why I was able, not to get off subject, but that was another reason why I left our church and went over to that one because they actually had so much stuff
but
going on.
That's why I went to West End Mount
they
Carmel,
was
because they
teaching
was
you.
teaching you. They had stuff going on.
Yeah.
You was always, the kids could be in stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I
that
get it.
that was one of the reasons why I ended up at that church, because we praise dance for that church. We were in plays for that
My
church.
kids mime danced and all that.
They had classes on ministry classes where if you didn't understand stuff,
They
and was
broke it
teaching
down,
stuff,
yep.
you could come there and do it. They had single ministries. They had all types of
That's
stuff.
how
So
West End
if
Mount
you a
Carmel
single
was
person,
for
they made it
me.
to put
I ain't
they
had no
stuff
church
for the
as good as
kids.
West End since
Yeah,
I
so,
left.
the fellowship and the relationships and the teachings were so awesome and had so much going on to where you was there. So I'm at prayer meeting. I'm at drama, the praise dance stuff. I'm at Bible study. I'm at church every Sunday. And if it's something else going on, or if it was a class that came on a certain night this night, I'm there for that class. So I'm basically still seeing my kids every day, but you have to, and then when you co-parenting too, that's another thing. You co-parenting with them. You have to keep other people
You went to the City
out
of
of your
Life?
business.
He's talking about, I ain't never seen her at the City of Life.
I
But
was
look at her
there.
again.
And everybody know my baby daddy. Ball and yellow. He's probably still there if he ain't left it. Yeah. So, because a lot of people, and that was the thing too, a lot of people didn't even know that he was my kid's father until he got married and the kids were staying with them and was going to church, and they was like, oh, I didn't know that was your kid's father. Because I'm not here. You don't need to know who my kid's father is. I'm not here for that. I care nothing about that man. I'm not with that man. That man's doing his thing. I'm here to get what God has for me and to do what God has for me. So a lot of people didn't even realize or didn't even know what was going on until they was like, wait a minute.
Her name is Regina.
It was like, them Gina kids, but them Curtis kids. Them Gina kids, them Curtis Macmillan kids, but them Gina kids, yeah, that's my kid's dad. Okay, some still know, some didn't, but that's how it went down. I was like, whatever. Yeah, Curtis is a minister now. He got ordained there. I think he married somebody else or whatever. I don't deal with Curtis. I don't have nothing bad to say or whatever. Our kids are grown. Our baby will be 28 on the 24th of this month, and our oldest son will be 30 in October. So it is what it is. I haven't been back there. I don't deal in those situations or whatever. But yeah, I went there for years. I praised and I did all of that. I went there for years under Bishop Frazier and Mama and all them. Yeah, I was there for years. So that's what I did. But
where's City of Life at?
U City.
I'm saying where?
On Fulton on 82nd.
Okay.
Which it depends on which side you come down.
I stayed right off of Elmore, off of 82nd Street.
Yeah, it was on 82nd if you came on this way, and then it was off of Fulton if you came the other way. Yeah, Frazier, they brought, because the church collapsed or whatever with the other man, they brought Bishop in from Texas or wherever he came from, and then I just found out recently that it fell with him doing the same stuff, whatever. But yeah, my kid's father ended up being a minister, being ordained there, coming a minister and all that. But beforehand, he did security for the church and all that, so he was there every day.
Do you still go to City of Life now?
Yeah, so so that was when my children were young. I haven't been there in years.
Right, we went to Christ Southern Mission.
Right, I went to Christ Southern Mission. And so they were used to be there, and they would be there. So that's how everything turned out. But like I say, is when your children are with this parent or with that parent, things are different. So you still have to stay on a certain level with your children. And then, like I said, when it came to this particular person that was living in the church, like you say, you never had no dramas or what. They didn't have any children or whatever, but they were going to get together, and basically she was intimidated or jealous by me.
Yeah, and it's different for women. It's different for women when they don't have no kids, because they don't want to share.
She didn't even want me in the church.
No, they don't want to share their man.
That woman did not even want me in the church, and I was like,
yeah, it's definitely
because because like I say, me and this man would conversate, and we would do so. I would never forget when I was saying that I was like, I don't understand this or something going on with this and that. He's the one who went on about my translating Bible and all that, and he was speaking and saying stuff, and he was like, well, I heard you didn't do this, and heard this and that, and then we would laugh and talk and do little things, so people feel like you still trying to get with them or be with them, and this all the time, we are children in Christ.
Well, sometimes it don't have nothing to do with it.
So you lost
it's
this man.
It's just the fact that the relationship that y'all share, they probably have not yet got to that. It ain't even so much that she's so intimidated by you. She don't understand why he needs you if he with her. That's just a woman. Well, and then she ain't got no kids. Yeah, because you hadn't had him and you was over him. He was your friend by this time. She's just learning this man. So she trying to be everything to him that you done already been to him. So, and
that's what I try to explain to a lot of people. We are co-parenting. Like I said, everybody didn't even know anything about me and this man because I never... Oh, these my kids. I was never about that, and it's never about that. Like I say, his son right now today still didn't know, and I had saw somebody else somewhere, and they kept saying, I know you get into that. I was like, yeah. And it's like, but you had kids. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, it is what it is, because I'm not here. You know who I am and what type of person I am. I'm who I am. I don't feed off of who nobody else is or who I know. Who I know.
Hold on, what you tell me you was?
I'm Gina. Because I'm 50 plus.
This girl said,
because I'm a You get off. You said you was gonna FaceTime me. Don't do
I
that,
Facebooked it. You seen there's a whole message up there about you today.
girl. I'm
This
not.
girl said I'm middle age plus. I
I am
said,
middle
what the
age
heck
plus.
is middle age
I'm
plus?
half of a century plus. I'm middle age. I'm a middle age plus woman. But before then, I still don't. I'm who I am.
She
I'm
middle age plus.
always.
That's who she
I'm
am.
middle age plus. I'm who I am. I'm always who I am. I don't. I'm not hanging on the shirt telling nobody else if I speak on you or if it's something you got going on and I'm proud of you or I'm trying to put you out there, then I would speak on your name because I personally do know you. So I would say, well, I personally know this person and I know what they're doing and this is their business and this is what's going on and they're a good person and they're doing this and I'm proud of them. So I want you to know that XYZ, they doing this. Other than that, and I just recently started doing that when I start promoting for everybody. So if I'm promoting for people who I don't even know or I may met the first time or I see something pop up on the screen and I want to share it, why would I not promote the people that I'm intimate with, that I sit and I break bread with and I'm around?
Oh yeah.
So that's the
And
only
hold
reason
on.
why you get a lot of
And
that.
while we in the middle of promoting, because we almost done, this Saturday, my nonprofit organization, which is All Hoods Unite, will be having our very first skating party. It will be at the Stadium. That's in, I think that's
The stadium?
the Stadium. That's in Illinois. It's not on this side. It's not that
Not
far.
the one that's on the south side. That's
No,
in Illinois. Okay.
the Stadium is on Catalan, Catalan, from 12 to 4. It is a family event, so everybody is welcome. Y'all come pack it out. We rented out the whole skating ring. We have our own DJ. We finna go and have a ball. So again, if you guys are not busy Saturday, 12 to 4, this is our very first skating party that my nonprofit organization, All Hoods Unite, will be hosting. And also one other thing, after that on Saturday, I am a co-host with my mother at the Zuka art gallery. It's a black art gallery. I experienced it for the first time a couple of weeks ago. If you have any talent, any kind of talent, come and showcase it. She makes you a live art visual there. So if you do spoken word, if you sing, if you play an instrument, we had a harmonica player there. Come out and do your thing out there. It's a really nice time, and the art is all over the wall, and a lot of the artists are in there, and the paintings are for sale. Amazing work in there. That's all I can think of.
Okay, and make sure, so she gonna make sure she put these flyers up on the page so you can see it on all of her pages. Ita, you can see it on We Love Our Black Men. You can see it on Talk That Talk Cocktail, and then I'm gonna share them as well. So make sure you guys
You ain't got nothing coming up this weekend too?
no, I'm just here on Saturdays from 12 to 2 with Kicking in Company. So it is something else I'm supposed to do, but I can't remember. But make sure you guys continue to follow all the pages and everything, because like we say, anything that we have going on coming up in the future or whatever is always posted on our pages. So make sure you just go to our pages, all different pages, and see what's going on so that you can get all the information. You can get the prices, you can get the locations, you can get the dates or whatever, because we always got something going on, y'all. It's always something. And then we still working on the play again. We're gonna pop that off. So it's just so much going
y'all,
on.
we definitely working on a
that
play. But
Yeah.
we got a new play.
Oh yeah.
We writing a new play.
So that's gonna be exciting. We just in the mix of doing a whole lot of things. The new
We got some secret stuff that
right,
we
we
not
got some
even
secret
telling.
stuff that we not gonna tell.
That we ain't even telling nobody. We just birthed this today.
It's gonna just pop out. Y'all gonna be like, what? And then, like I say, it's also a new show that started down here on Mondays. They do a lot of things that I'm gonna be partnering with to do stuff for the community.
To meet the guys.
Yeah.
And one other thing while I'm
community and
thinking
stuff.
about that, I have decided, I'm a personal trainer as well. I have decided that if you guys know of any people who have elderly people or older people that want to work out, let me know. I'm gonna go out to their homes and get them some personal training. Also, if you guys have adult daycares or people that are in need of care, my nonprofit organization wants to use Thursdays to come out and give back for free. Now, with my training and coming out to sit with the elderly people, if you know of anybody who needs PT, personal care, or whatever, they need to get up, they need to move about, give them my information, or you guys get my information so I can start coming out. And that'll be anywhere from Tuesday. I think I'm gonna do Tuesday through Saturday. Sundays I don't work, but I have time in the evenings Tuesday through Saturday where I can go out and give back to the elderly. I don't have a granny here, but I'm for the grannies and the granddads. So y'all just let me know. This is just something that was placed on my heart earlier to give back to the older people.
Right. So y'all know how it is. That's just what we do. But like I said, we got a lot going on. We always keep our stuff because this is Talk That Talk Cocktail Hour. We do have a lot of guests. We will be. It's a lot of people that still want to come in and promote their business and do all things. And we are still open to that. So if it's somebody that still want to reach out to us, we have our website, Talk That Talk Cocktail
Come on out
Hour.
and be a guest.
You still can come out and be a guest. You still can hit us up. You still can leave a message in our personal inboxes or in our Talk That Talk Cocktail
Because
Hour,
we do have a
page.
message box there that we check.
Yeah, we have a message box there, and then if you just want to book some, we have a booking site, so that's connected to there. So it's a lot of stuff that's going on, but this is a talk show. We do talk, and that's what we do. If it's any topics or concerns or anything that you have that might be going on in your life that you want answers and questions to, and you want to see how people feel about it, put that stuff on our page. Well, put
Make
it in our
topics.
inbox. Y'all can tell
Or
us
maybe
what
we'll
topics we can do.
maybe once a week we'll start what's a good topic.
Right.
And we'll pick from the 5.
Yeah, y'all can basically y'all can send in stuff because a lot of stuff can be discussed in 10-15 minutes. Some stuff might take 10-15 hours. So we, it's not like we're not going to be able
So
to
we can
get
hit
to it.
all the
We
topics.
can hit everything you need. Even it might be somebody that even want to do a topic and want to call in or come sit in on their own topic.
Y'all can come in live.
We are so open and interested in all of that, and
Y'all see we got room.
we are totally looking for our males because a lot of y'all are come in on our lives and say something afterwards. Y'all are listen and y'all will say something after we are done with the show, or y'all will come in our inbox,
Or I come to work and I gotta hear a whole.
Yeah,
Man, that show was tight. You could have called in.
You could call in. You can if you watching. It's okay. Click in and let us know you watching. Type your little stuff in the box. Call if you don't want to type and do all that.
And
like
if
me,
you're
I'm bad
still
with that.
here,
Call
share
on
the
phone.
live.
Call on the phone. You can call us on the phone.
You're live when you
Yeah.
on the phone too, so
Nobody
everybody
don't
can
even
hear.
know who you are. Even if you don't want nobody to know who you are, you could call in if you want to get your point across or you want to ask a question, because we do have professionals in situations, and then when people hear, they know what they doing or whatever, you might just want to talk to the person that's here on
They
the
can
show
help
as
you
a
with
guest
it.
or whatever.
Yep.
I mean, it's nothing too small. It's nothing too big. We're interested in helping out any situations or talking about any situation. It's nothing too rare. It's nothing too raw. Baby, raw is my initials, so it's nothing too raw or anything.
She gonna
I'm
bring it
here
raw, and
to-
I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna break it down for her.
I'm here to deal with any situations or anything. I mean, like we say, mental illness is real. Co-parenting is real. Sexuality is real. Bullying is real. All of these homelessness, being tired.
Life is just real.
Heartbreaks, relationships. This stuff is real. Y'all think y'all ain't the only ones out here tripping off no nigga, or tripping off no woman, or tripping off no man because they done broke your heart, or it don't care. We don't care because you old now and you feel like you shouldn't be going through this. We all go through stuff. My 52-year-old ass no. Well, I'm calm. But am I calm?
She middle plus.
My middle-aged plus ass. I'm middle-aged.
She middle-aged plus, y'all. This is her word that she made up. I don't know where she got it from.
I'm a single woman, and I still go through stuff as well. A lot of times I tell y'all in the situations, I'm no better than nobody else, and I ain't embarrassed about my situation. I ain't embarrassed about nothing. This middle-aged plus woman still go through relationship issues, still go through heartbreak, still go through wondering where she should be in life and what's going on. Like I say, people be so jealous of your life and don't even understand what you're going through. I smile and I cry. I'm grieving. I grieve so hard. Last month I didn't know if I was coming and going. 2 weeks I ain't ate right. I ain't did. You never know what people going through. So anything y'all want to discuss, anything y'all want to talk about, anything y'all need to hear other words, because I'm the type of person, I say that I love bringing on people, not the fact that to break you down or to embarrass you or something like that, but I love speaking to people and bringing on people to speak to people that done been through shit. If you ain't been through nothing or you don't know what I'm going through, I don't want to listen to you either.
Yep.
So you can't tell me what this broken heart feel like, or what it's like to lose somebody, or how to grieve and all this. Even if you've been through what I've been through when it comes to grieving, you still can't tell me how to grieve, because everybody does it in their own manner. But if you
Might
broke
be able to
down
help
some
you
type
through.
of way, if you going
That
through
work
something,
for you.
you're
Yep.
not the only. A lot of times when we go through shit, we feel like we the only one going through it, or it's embarrassing, or it's this and it's that. So anything that you want to discuss or you think you need to discuss, and then we also there for private information and situations. You don't have to come on here and tell your business or do whatever. You still welcome to hit our inboxes and hit our phone numbers and our pages to ask us personal stuff to deal with you personally, because everything don't need to be set out for the world to know. We're still there for you to do all of these things. So with that being said, our time has ran out for tonight. But like we said, look for us next week so we won't forget. But y'all still can put some stuff in there too, because we want to talk about the other scenarios or in the situations that we said what was going on. So we basically getting ready to sign off tonight. This has been a good show for me. I hope it has been a good show for you. Like I say, this is your host, Gina Wade.
And your girl, Tay Brown.
Yes, and you can find us here each and every Monday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time. Like I said, we got all these other things going on. I'm here also on Saturdays from noon to 2 with the Kicking and Company show. I'm just around. We got a whole lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff that we get ready to do. So you could contact me on Gina Wade on Facebook, Gina _ Wade on Instagram, Talk That Talk Cocktail Hour, W3EW, Women Encouraging Empowerment Embracing Other Women. I'm here. I'm all around, and I got other stuff that I'm breaking myself down to do things. So I got other things in store that's getting ready to pop off and do. The new people they want to do an event for people. W3EW is getting ready to get back off, because like I keep saying, everybody has issues in life. Life has things that's going on. So when you have a life and you got stuff that's going on, you might fall off, pop off on something, but we have to bring stuff back together. So we're ready. We're ready, guys. So it is what it is. Tell you where they can find you at.
I am Tay Brown. That's Tay Brown on Facebook. My nonprofit is All Hoods Unite. You can look that up in anything. We are on Yep, so you can look us up. We are bonded, so you can find us out there. I am an event planner. I am a trainer. I fix credit. I do a lot of stuff. I wrote books. We're doing plays. You name it, we did it. On Instagram, I am Etay. That's Etay Brown. I life coach. I've been in mental health for over 16 years, so I'm kind of well-rounded. So if you guys need me, message me, inbox me. You can inbox me on those personal pages or on that Talk Cocktail Hour if you want personal care. So with that being said, y'all know how to get in contact with us.
And that's a wrap, kind. We out of here. All we can say is smooches and deuces. Till next time. But yep. Look,
Look, I couldn't get it.